all of a sudden we realized that we may have to rewrite all the textbooks about the beginning of the universe. Something is wrong. We may have to revise our theory of the creation of the universe.
The signal from 15 billion miles away suddenly turned to garbage. One moment, Voyager 1 was our faithful messenger from the abyss. The next, it was speaking pure gibberish. For 5 agonizing months, NASA feared our only link to interstellar space was gone forever. But then a miracle happened. They fixed it. They revived the probe from across the solar system. Now that Voyager is talking again, its first messages from the cosmic wilderness are painting a picture so strange and hostile that it has everyone who sees it completely unnerved. A scream from the void. In late 2023, the unthinkable happened. From an almost unimaginable distance of 15 billion miles, Voyager 1, our lonely sentinel in the cosmic dark, stopped making sense. For 46 years, this marvel of engineering had been our faithful correspondent from the abyss. It was a journey that took it past the gas giants and into the great unknown, a place no human-made object had ever gone before. It runs on the same amount of power as a dim light bulb and has less computing power than a modern car key fob. Yet, it was our only direct link to the space between the stars. And then, it went silent. The stream of data that had been painting a picture of interstellar space suddenly devolved into a repeating, useless loop of gibberish. It was like getting a phone call from a friend in a distant land, but all you can hear is a single meaningless word repeated over and over. For months, NASA held its breath. This wasn't just a technical glitch, it was an existential crisis. Our connection was severed. Engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory faced a nightmare scenario. It's funny when you think about it, they were trying to troubleshoot a computer from the 1970s when it takes a radio signal over 22 hours just to reach it. A single command sent into the void was a shot in the dark, with a nearly 2-day wait for a reply that just kept coming back garbled. Here's where it gets really weird. Some insiders whispered that the initial corrupted signal wasn't random. For a few brief moments before the main failure, the telemetry allegedly flickered with patterns that looked eerily similar to known stellar pulses, almost as if something was trying to talk back or mimic the sounds of space. This was quickly dismissed as a coincidence, of course, but the rumor lingered in the tense halls of mission control. Had a random cosmic ray finally dealt a crippling strike? Or had our little probe wandered into a region of space so hostile, so strange, that its very mind was torn apart? The silence stretched from weeks into months. The team was facing the real possibility that Voyager 1 was gone for good, its final secrets locked away forever. But the most brilliant minds at NASA weren't giving up. They were about to attempt the most audacious long-distance repair in human history. It was a desperate act of digital CPR on a dying machine billions of miles from home. After painstaking analysis, they pinpointed the problem: a single corrupted memory chip in the flight data subsystem. This is the part of Voyager's brain that packages all the science and engineering data to send back to Earth. Just 3% of its memory was fried, but it was enough to crash the entire system. The culprit was likely one of the very things Voyager was sent to study: a high-energy galactic cosmic ray, a tiny particle moving at nearly the speed of light that had slammed into the decades-old hardware. The fix was pure genius. Since they couldn't physically repair the broken chip, they decided to slice up the affected computer code and carefully tuck it into other, smaller sections of the system's memory. Imagine trying to perform remote brain surgery from across the entire solar system, writing new code for hardware built when disco was still on the radio. They had to be perfect. One wrong line of code could silence Voyager forever. On April 20th, 2024, after months of work, the first sign of life appeared. A clear signal came back. It wasn't science data yet, but it was the health and status of the spacecraft. Voyager was alive. By June, all 4 of its active science instruments were back online, resurrected from the brink. But the probe wasn't just back. It was somewhere new, and it had a story to tell. The constant hum of space. With its instruments back online, Voyager began to speak of the world it now inhabits. And it is a world, not a void. We sent our probe expecting to find a vast, silent emptiness. Instead, we found a place with structure, texture, and a constant, unnerving whisper. The first shock came from the magnetometer, the instrument that measures magnetic fields. It detected an interstellar magnetic field that is sharply tilted and far more powerful than any of our models predicted. This wasn't a gentle shift. It was like crossing an invisible wall where the rules of physics seemed to bend. The reading suggests Voyager is flying through a zone of magnetic turbulence, a place where the galaxy's magnetic fields are tangled up like cosmic spaghetti. Then came the sounds. The plasma wave system, which basically listens to the vibrations of interstellar gas, didn't detect the quiet of empty space. Instead, it picked up a persistent, low-frequency hum. Now, it's not a sound you could hear with your ears, but it's a constant vibration of plasma, the thin soup of charged particles that fills the void. It's as if the space between the stars is whispering or humming to itself, a constant cosmic murmur that permeates everything. This single discovery was a massive wow moment for scientists. Space wasn't silent at all. It was filled with a constant low-level energy that we never knew was there. What's more, the probe's instruments are recording massive spikes in plasma density. Get this, they're like giant pressure waves or tsunamis rolling through the interstellar medium. Scientists believe these are shock fronts from ancient, long-gone stars. They are the ghostly echoes of supernovas that exploded thousands of years ago, still traveling through the galaxy at incredible speeds. Voyager isn't just drifting through space, it's flying through the wreckage of cosmic history, feeling the phantom pains of stars that expired before humanity even learned to write. It turns out space is not an empty stage. It's much more like an invisible, churning ocean with currents, weather, and the ghosts of ancient storms. This structured, humming environment is completely rewriting our understanding of the galaxy. It's a fundamental shift in perspective, but that constant, eerie hum is the least of our worries. The data from another instrument revealed a far more immediate and terrifying truth about our tiny, fragile home. Highways of radiation. Imagine for a moment that you've spent your entire life in a cozy, quiet house, never knowing what lay beyond your front door. You believe the whole world is just as calm and safe as your living room. Then one day you finally step outside and discover your house is the only thing standing in the middle of a never-ending Category 5 hurricane. That is exactly what Voyager 1 discovered for us. The moment it crossed the heliopause, the invisible boundary where our sun's influence finally ends, it was like a shield had been vaporized. The probe's instruments didn't just register a change, they began to scream. For decades, its cosmic ray detector had reported a steady, manageable trickle of high-energy particles. Suddenly, that trickle became a fire hose. The reading shot up, registering a hailstorm of galactic cosmic rays. These aren't just light or energy, they are the tiny shattered hearts of atoms, fired like microscopic bullets from the universe's most violent events. These particles are the shrapnel from exploding stars known as supernovas and the cosmic exhaust from the swirling maws of supermassive black holes. They tear through space at nearly the speed of light, carrying enough energy to shred delicate electronics and, more frighteningly, rip apart the very building blocks of life. DNA. The jump in this dangerous radiation wasn't gentle or gradual, it was a brutal, instantaneous transition. One moment, Voyager was inside the relative calm of our solar system. The next, it was being sandblasted by the raw, unfiltered fury of the galaxy. This single discovery revealed a profound and deeply humbling truth. We live in a cosmic oasis. Our sun doesn't just give us light and warmth. Its massive magnetic field, the heliosphere, inflates a protective bubble around our entire solar system. It is a force field, tirelessly pushing back against the vast majority of this harmful radiation. We are shielded, living in a fragile paradise while the true nature of the galaxy rages just outside our door. Without this stellar shield, the constant bombardment could have sterilized Earth before life even had a chance to get started. But here's where the story turns from awe-inspiring to deeply disturbing. The patterns of these cosmic rays aren't random, like you'd expect from a chaotic storm. Voyager's detectors have measured strange, almost organized variations. The particles seem to be flowing in non-uniform ways, as if they are being guided along invisible channels. It's as if the interstellar medium has natural highways and rivers of radiation that crisscross the void. Some astrophysicists are now wondering if Voyager is mapping a cosmic pressure system, glimpsing galactic structures larger and more complex than we can possibly imagine. Of course, this has thrown gasoline on the fire of more fringe theories. Some are asking a terrifying question: what if these highways aren't natural? Natural forces are typically chaotic. These structures seem too orderly. They argue that we are not simply observing a natural phenomenon, but charting the borders of someone else's territory. This isn't just science fiction. Understanding these radiation zones is absolutely critical for the future of space travel. Invitation or liability? While this scientific mission paints a grim picture, Voyager's second, even longer mission is just beginning. As its plutonium power source slowly fades, its instruments will go dark one by one. Voyager 1 will become a ghost ship, a relic of the 20th century destined to coast silently and eternally through the cosmos. Its journey is so long it's almost impossible to comprehend. In about 40,000 years, it will make a distant pass of a star called Gliese 445. But that's just its first stop. It will continue on, an eternal wanderer, long after its creators have turned to dust. But Voyager is not just a piece of hardware. It carries a passenger, the Golden Record. Bolted to its side is a 12-inch gold-plated copper disc. It's our ultimate message in a bottle, engineered to survive for over 1 billion years. On it are 116 images of our world, diagrams of our science and the sounds of our planet. Wind, thunder, a whale song, a baby's cry. And there is our music, from Bach to Chuck Berry. It is, without a doubt, the most enduring monument our species will ever build. When our sun finally consumes the Earth, that record will still be out there, a final testament that we once existed. However, the thing is, there's a much darker way to look at it. Some have argued for decades that the record isn't a greeting card, it's a terrible liability. Here's why. The Golden Record contains a map. Etched onto its surface is a diagram showing the location of our sun relative to 14 known pulsars, the galaxy's rapidly spinning lighthouse-like stars. It also includes a diagram of our solar system pointing out the third planet. To any civilization advanced enough to find the probe and decipher the diagrams, this isn't a friendly guide to the neighborhood. It's a set of galactic coordinates that says we are here. The team that created it, led by the brilliant Carl Sagan, made a monumental gamble. They bet on the kindness of strangers, believing any advanced civilization would be wise and benevolent. But what if they were wrong? This is the question that keeps some people up at night. What if the first species to find this message isn't peaceful? What if they see the universe not as a place of wonder, but as a collection of resources to be taken? The record gives them everything they need to find our fragile blue world. Suddenly, all those beautiful images and sounds might look less like an introduction and more like an intelligence report on a primitive species, ripe for the taking. We're all wondering, is this true? Are we missing a key detail here? Did we send a message of peace, or did we foolishly hand-deliver a treasure map to our home? Let us know what you think below. Like and subscribe for more stories from the edge.